pretty much the finale. Had a long talk with Daring about it afterward. Um, that is not a game you play for fun. That is a game you play for an experience. The start of the game is more fun and games with the prison break stuff. But once you're out of prison, most of the gameplay gets stressful. You're on the run from the cops constantly. There's one breather, or you're chasing someone. There's one breather, which is robbing the convenience store, where you're not chasing anyone and there aren't police after you. That's pretty much it. Um, and it's kind of all part of the genius of the game, because in all of these stressful chunks of gameplay, there are mini games. There's mini games everywhere. You know, there was horseshoes at the farm, that we dicked around with. There was a dartboard at Leo's wife's trailer, and basketball. In the hospital, you can dick around with wheelchairs and just push each other around in wheelchairs for no reason. There's a Connect 4 game. Even later on, before you fly to Harvey's, there's an arcade machine with a goofy, like, muck arcade, like, Pong variation. Um, the only unfortunate thing is that a lot of them don't work super well when you're using remote play to play them, because of the lag that Player 2 experiences. But it's all team building stuff, right? It's all meant to be like, yeah, we had the good times. Remember we played darts? That was awesome. And then we played Connect 4 for like an hour. There are streamers that literally played Connect 4 for like 2 hours when they got to the hospital. And it's these little diversions that make the game fun. But the actual gameplay the actual gameplay is stressful. And that all leads up to the fucking finale, the reveal, and the final act, where you've been playing together for minimum 4 hours, solving problems together, running together, and all this shit. And then they make you fight each other to the death. I don't know. I know it was fairly audible because I made the VOD and had to set it up. So I watched some snippets of the VOD, and you could hear that I was crying. And you saw that Daring refused to participate. Daring didn't want to do it. I'm getting a very, very tight draw in this cigar. But yeah, it's so bold and unique. And it's not for everyone, for sure. But this is a game that sets out to build a bond between two people in order to hurt both of you. That's what a way out does. It sets you up so it can hurt you. Let me try cutting this again. I think I might have cut it too high. I personally love it. Like, I get that it's brutal in that it takes away your agency, right, as a player, no matter how you personally feel about the betrayal. There we go. No matter how you personally feel about the betrayal, you don't have a choice. You have to fight it out. And I think it's genius. And I think, like, objectively speaking, there should be a third option. It's a little heavy-handed to absolutely force you to go through with it. But at the same time, I feel like too many people would probably just refuse to fight each other and find the third option and be just like, I don't want to do this. And then a lot of people would just never see the heartbreaking, tragic endings. But the game only has two endings. Leo dies or Vincent dies. There's no third ending. And I personally feel that for the sake of the art, I'm glad that they enforced it. Because that game is a work of art. That game is absolutely, in my eyes, a work of art. Just incredible experience. From all the crazy split screen tech, all the visual elements, the art style of the game is incredible. It manages to look and feel realistic with no uncanny valley like anywhere. And that's kind of where realism in graphics is kind of going. But like, there's almost no mistakes in the game's visuals and design. And I respect that in a big way, because a lot of games they go for that, but then they make mistakes. There was only one goofy part that I recall, which was when we were trying to get Ray and it was on the crane, and like I was hanging from the shipping container, and he was like trying to fuck with my hands, and we were completely misaligned. So the animations didn't make any sense. That was like the only part of the entire game where things got janky. Other than that, it was so clean. Yes, exactly. It doesn't look hyper realistic. Like, it's not trying to look like it's a photograph, but it's realistic enough that you can see what they were going for, and it whiffs the uncanny valley nicely, so that it just has a solid overall look. I'm incredibly impressed by that game. Um, like, doubly so, even like having seen the whole game, or close to the whole game previously, watching Gargura and Amelia Watson play through it. I didn't pay attention to every little fucking quick time event and motion they were doing. I missed several huge chunks of the game because I didn't watch 100% of both streams. I didn't catch them. But I saw a few chunks. I saw stuff like the hospital escape, which was an absolute treat. And most of the prison break sequence, which is just great. and the finale. And watching Gura and Watson play the finale was awesome, and it couldn't have possibly gone better. It was especially funny because, Watson is the detective, that's the character, and she picked Vincent without knowing. And the other thing that made it especially, amazing was that in the shootout, um, Watson screwed up. Watson is the FPS player of Hololive, Ian. Gura is legendarily terrible at FPS games. When they played Left 4 Dead 2 recently, she had an average accuracy of 25 or less percent. But Gura won the shootout. And so Leo won the fight. And, like, both of the girls were I mean, they were jokey. They're literally paid to be jokey. They don't have a choice, right? But when the moment came, um, Gura hesitated to pull the trigger, and she was like, "Do I have to do this?" And then she pulled the trigger to kill Vincent, and the first thing she said was, uh, "Die, you stinking rat," for the humor. And then she was like a few seconds later, she was like, "I regret my decision. Is there an undo button?" And then there's a line that she said that will always cling to me, that defines this game's ending. And I'm gonna type it out so it's visual. If my keyboard will work. OBS is really, really finicky with my keyboard. Because it's a tablet. It's not working. There it goes. Okay. What was the exact line? That line absolutely defined the ending to me and how you feel. Especially at the end when you're forced to pull the trigger. You don't have a choice. There is no third option. One of you has to kill the other. So, and trust me, if you play it with someone that you're really close to, you're really good friends with, and you play it knowing what's going to happen at the end, it'll still hurt. Honestly, seeing it played out and talking about it versus actually sitting down and playing it with someone and experiencing it for yourself is two different things. And it's powerful. I can't recommend it enough. If the idea of a two-player cooperative adventure game like that is in any way interesting to you, you've got to do it. If you like crime drama, you got to do it. Bonus points if you know how it ends, but your teammate does not. Although, I would probably warn them ahead of time at least that the game ends in a severe tragedy. You know, don't tell them what happens, but at least warn them that the end of the game is going to make them have a really, really big sad. That the end of the game is there to hurt you. That was the mistake I made with Daring. I focused too hard on the surprise. I should have at least warned Daring that the ending was going to be miserable. Because Daring was completely unprepared for it and, like, didn't even participate in the final battle. I'm I'm thankful that Daring was willing to get the gun at the end to see Leo's ending, because Leo's ending is the better ending of the two. But um yeah, that's the only thing I would warn people of, that there is no good ending. Because that still prepares them for for basically the emotions that are going to hit them. Possibly lets them know ahead of time that maybe it's not the game for them. But even hearing there is no good ending, this game is going to hurt you, still isn't going to tell you what it's going to do in the last act. And it's still going to come as a shock